Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com nightly wrap-up show, or in this case, the weekend update show. Usually I do the broadcasts around Saturday morning, Sunday morning. Again, this is the start of the holiday season, so it's going to be crazy hectic. So I figured, let me just record this stuff after the close while things are kind of still fresh in my mind. I want to be the first formally, to wish you guys a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Okay, Thanksgiving is on the 28th, 6 days from now. We are closed on Thursday. There is going to be a massive travel season between Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So you are going to see sporadic intervals of the market, a little bit more quiet than normal. We'll get to the action in a second. If you could be so kind, everybody, only thing I ask is if you enjoy what we're doing, if you enjoy the content and all that good stuff, all I ask is click a like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And again, hopefully I will continue to give you guys value. So that's that. So 2% moves all across the board. The NASDAQ 100 on the surface did pretty well. We talked about it several days ago, the importance of getting back above the 503 level. That was the 5 and 10-day cross at the time. And for the market for the last 4 days, we've been building above the 503 level. That's super duper bullish. And we'll get to the next level where we need to in a second. The odd part about the NASDAQ up 2% this week, if you look at a lot of the leaders, right? If you look at a lot of the, especially the mega cap names, most stocks are not participating, which is very, very odd. And if you look at names one after another and after another, you would never think in a million years the NASDAQ was up 2%. So let's talk about them, right? Amazon, super duper weak. Google, super duper weak. Micron, super duper weak. AMD, right? Super duper weak. I mean, they're going one after another. Microsoft survived the bottom channel here, super duper weak. So you ask yourself, well, what the hell is going on, right? What is going on here? Even NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA came out with great earnings, right? They came out great earnings. They were a little bit shy of the whisper number on revenue, but the stock went from down 4 or 5 points on Wednesday night into green, right? Not only did it go green, first of all, it gave us one of the biggest pivots in the shortest amount of time on Thursday's session, finally getting above the channel of 149.70s. It was a $3.5 move within 90 seconds. One of the most aggressive pivots I can remember in a very long time. But ultimately, they sold it, right? Ultimately, they sold it. And today, they continued to sell it. And now the question is, well, wait a minute. They had good earnings, right? The NASDAQ's up 2%. We're very, very close to reclaiming back the 10-day moving average. Well, what gives with NVIDIA? And that's a very, very important question, and there's really not an answer to that. The one thing we can rely on is data. So I'm thinking to myself, well, they ran it up ahead of earnings, and then they sold it into earnings. And then they rallied it back only to sell it in the regular session. Today, they couldn't rally it back and put in an inside day from the selling of earnings. And now the question is, well, can NVIDIA hold on to this bottom channel? And it's a very, very fair question because, again, if they're not buying it into earnings, well, right, what's the flip side to it? So it's something very, very important to watch. On the other hand, you'll turn around and you go, well, there's a lot of really good moves in the NASDAQ 100, right? You have Apple acting really, really well. You have Netflix, despite their, debauchery, right? Debauchery, is that a real word? Right? In the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, the stock is going absolutely bananas, right? You look, for example, Coinbase, still very, very strong. You look at MSTR, despite its really, really aggressive reversal on Thursday, it's still acting very, very well. So the question is, well, how can the NASDAQ be up 2%? You have half the stocks green, half the stock's red. You would never think for a million years the NASDAQ would be up 2%, especially with the market leaders not participating. Well, the answer to that is sometimes there's a very individualized specific market. What I mean by that is I use this analogy all the time, right? When you go to the supermarket, you're not buying everything in the supermarket. I mean, some of you guys are, some of you guys not. Again, diabetes, right? Don't do that, right? You're not going to the supermarket and buying everything. You go to the supermarket, hopefully you're buying vegetables, chicken, right? You're not buying vegetables, chicken, soda, this, that, the third, and clearing out aisle 1 through 7. And that's exactly what the market is right now. And despite such a disconnect, especially in the NASDAQ 100 area, it's a very specific market. You have a lot of really great speculation money hitting the table. Again, on the Coinbase names, again, where's Bitcoin? So, hovering around the $100,000 area. So you could tell there's still a lot of speculation money. Names, for example, like Palantir, right? Doing very, very well, really, really well. So, you have names that are going crazy. And I think the safest and the most prudent way, and we talked about it this morning at Morning Strategy, is stick to the names that are coming out of the range despite what the overall market's doing. Again, yes, we want to make sure we are aware of what the market's doing, but let's stick to the names that have option flow. Let's stick to the names that's coming out of very, very tight channels, because if you are wrong on those names, you're wrong at those names on those very specific levels. If you're wrong in your overall general synopsis of what's going on in the overall market, that could sting very, very well. And yesterday and today was a prime example of just wait for your spots, know the channels, know the intervals. And this is why I trade the same names over and over and over again. And the result was phenomenal. Okay. It was absolutely phenomenal today. Let's start off with the pivots, right? Let's start off with the pivots, and I'll show you which one. I think you guys could pretty much guess which one did the right thing today. And I was waiting for this trade for like a week and a half, and it finally came through. So let's talk about it. Apple is one of the ones behaving very nicely, right? Very nicely. Again, is it a runaway train? No. The options flow for this thing is still a little bit muted. They came for the 230s, they came for the 232 50s, but not in an exaggerated sort of way. So again, not a big move. 230.16 rejected twice, needs to build. Apple only went up to a little bit below 231, but this is now, if you look at Apple, this is now the highest close in this whole formation of Apple. All it needs to do is confirm that 231 level, and it could wake up. Again, assuming the market holds serves. Okay, that's fine. Apple, blah, 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 blah. MBLY, nice move in MBLY. Daily rejected twice at 1760, needs to build. Some little bit of flow came into the name. So here was MBLY. You have this whole channel here that played out here. 1760 got rejected on 1113. 1760 got rejected on 1120. Today finally got above the 1160 area. Traded up to 1820. It looks like 1930s, maybe even $20 are in its future. Again, stock holds very well. Again, nice moves there. This is the one that I really love going into next week. I really, really love this setup here. One of my favorite setups. Well, I think anybody who trades especially in the long side will kind of figure it out. One of the best setups is if a company comes out with good news, especially one with earnings, right? And it puts in a big flag and it goes sideways. The longer it goes sideways, remember what I'm just saying right now, because we're going to segue into my favorite stock. The longer it goes sideways, the higher probability when it finally comes out and confirms the earnings highs, this thing could absolutely explode. It didn't break 11, guys. I'm actually giving you the price. It didn't break 11, but watch this PAYO. Look at this setup here, folks. Look at this setup going into this week. Look how tight this is, right? It had a big move up into earnings, went sideways, is literally going sideways for about a month and a half. Guys, watch this thing. If this thing, any close above 11, this thing's going to start its next leg up. Definitely keep an eye on this thing. So it didn't trigger today, but there's something I'm really, really interested going into next week. RVLV 3530 needs to confirm. I didn't watch this RVLV. What the hell did it do? RVLV looks like it got above the 3530, went to like 3580s. Didn't do nothing. Didn't do anything. Excuse my language. Nice move on Snow. right? So Snow had an incredible quarter yesterday, went absolutely nuts. They were pounding the 180 calls, the weeklies, and here is basically the pivot. Needs to confirm yesterday's highs of 74.65 and the pre-market highs of 176.40s to test there. Beautiful move on Snow. It traded right to the upper Bollinger Band perfectly. You see this upper Bollinger Band, right? Remember when people ask me all the time, especially people who don't understand supply and demand, why do I have so many lines? These lines tell us where to sell stock, right? So it took out 74.60, took out 76.60s, and traded right into the Bollinger Band, right to 179. Beautiful textbook trade. Confirmed yesterday's channel, confirmed the pre-market highs, and traded right into 60-minute supply. So that was absolutely perfect. And here we go. Right? How many days, how many videos have we been talking about Tesla? Right, guys? How many days, how many videos have we been talking about Tesla? They've been coming all week. The 350s, the 355s, the 360s, the 370s, the 370s, the 400 Julys, 400 Decembers. Just nonstop. Finally today, after a little bit of a hiccup, okay, it got back above the 345 level and started to trade macro. And this is where phenomenal trade. I still have some over the weekend. Absolutely phenomenal. It finally broke the 45. Look at the 60-minute view, right? Look at the 60-minute view. Look at this rocket here, man. It finally took out the 45 and just went absolutely nuts. It traded up to 56 and change. It didn't trade up to 61. This was a bad print. Hopefully they'll fix it over the weekend. Here's the crazy part about this, right? The macro trade hasn't even started yet, and that's the name of the game. If it could take out the highs, I'm guessing this 6150s is going to get corrected on everybody's chart platform. But if it can get above, okay, the Trump rally highs, there's a shot this thing goes to 370, 380s. And this is what I mean about kind of the same thing when I was talking about the PAYO. The longer it goes sideways, the higher probability it shoots out. Well, look at Tesla, right? It had a big move. It went sideways, and today finally just absolutely exploded. Now look at PYAO. Right? It looks exactly the same thing, with just more of a constructive distribution. So beautiful move. That was definitely between NVIDIA yesterday and Tesla today. I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I know a lot of guys feel exactly the same way. And this is beautiful, right? This is beautiful. Here was the first candle. We were up 8. Our highest sale was literally up 10. So I was very happy with that, and just went nuts. I go, let's see if we could test the Trump highs of 358.64. Just an amazing move. And this has happened literally on 1.5 candles. So this was absolutely phenomenal. So great way to end the week. The market continues to act very well. A little bit confusing because the distribution is so dynamic, the haves and the have-nots, but you can see the stocks that are going, they're really moving very aggressively. So let me give you guys some ideas for next week, right? Let me give you guys some ideas for next week. Okay, PAYO, we talked about. I love that chart. If this thing confirms, Apple, we talked about a second ago. I would like to see it take out today's channel and start squeezing into this 233 level. Look at DJT, right? Donald J. Trump. It's getting close, right? It's getting close. You see how many times it's got rejected off this supply zone right here, right? That's the 150-day SMA. Again, baby steps. I don't think it's going to burst out into a $12 move, but I think if it could get above the 150-day moving average, then it could go back to the 1111 highs. And if it could get back to the 1111 highs, then it has room to really open up. But baby steps, right? One thing after another. So keep an eye on this. Do I love this trade here? No, I like it. I would love it above the 1111 highs, but I like it enough for his initial baby step to get to that level. So keep an eye on DJT, right? Keep an eye on DJT. Guys, look at MGNI. Look at MGNI. Kind of, again, same looking chart as PAYO, all these things. Nice looking chart here. It looks like it wants to very close to break out. Carvana. Carvana has a lot of short interest, folks. A lot of short interest. If it could confirm today's channel next week, this thing could really open up. Keep an eye on that. PLTR gave a nice pivot today. I think I forgot to put it on the Twitter feed, but all you guys in the webinar caught it from that 63.50, from the 63.50, pretty much closed at the highs. They were coming for the 65 and the 66 calls. The reason why 65, 66 is important, well, 66 is the high of the November channel. So that looks still really, really good. Just in case we continue to sell, right? Continue to sell. Look at Google. Something's wrong with Google, man. Something's definitely wrong with Google. Look how many times Google has held this bottom range. Look at this. It held it once in October and held it a second time in October. It held it now back-to-back days. If Google starts losing this bottom channel here, this thing could really, really get hit. And unfortunately, last but not least is NVIDIA. If NVIDIA cannot turn around, right? If it cannot turn around the next couple of days, well, what's the catalyst left, right? What's the catalyst left? It's basically telling you it couldn't rally on earnings. It couldn't rally the next day on earnings, and they sold it back-to-back days. So I'm definitely watching. Is it a big trade imminent on NVIDIA? No, I don't think it is, but it's something to be mindful going into next week. So again, a lot of things going on. Next week is a shortened week for all you guys who are traveling. Stay safe, right? Happy Thanksgiving. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Happiness and health all around. Guys, God bless everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all in the field on Monday. Take care.